नायुज्यमानाय भक्तया भगवती अखिलात्मनि सदृशोऽस्ति शिवपन्था योगिनां ब्रह्मसिद्धये। प्रभु जी। न युज्यमानाय भक्तया भगवती अखिलात्मनि सदृशोऽस्ति शिवपन्था योगिनां ब्रह्मसिद्धये। न युज्यमानाय भक्तया भगवती अखिलात्मनि सदृशोऽस्ति शिवपन्था योगिनां ब्रह्मसिद्धये। न युज्यमानाय भक्तया भगवती अखिलात्मनि सदृशोऽस्ति शिवपन्था योगिनां ब्रह्मसिद्धये। माता जी। न युज्यमानाय भक्तया भगवते अखिलात्मनि सदृशोऽस्ति शिवपन्था योगिनां ब्रह्मसिद्धये। So word by word meaning. Na, not. Yujyamanaya, being performed. Bhaktaya, devotional service. Bhagavati, towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Akhilatmani, the Super Soul. Sadrasha, like. Asti, there is. Shiva, auspicious. Pantha, path. Yoginam, of the yogis. Brahma Siddhaye, for perfection in self-realization. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for that is the only auspicious path. Purport. The knowledge and renunciation are never perfect unless joined by devotional service is explicitly explained here. Na yujyamanaya means without being dovetailed. When there is devotional service, then the question is where to offer that service. Devotional service is to be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the super soul of everything. For that is the only reliable path of self-realization or Brahman realization. The word Brahma Siddhaye means to understand oneself to be different from matter, to understand oneself to be Brahman. The Vedic words are Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma Siddhi means that one should know that he is not matter, he is pure soul. There are different kinds of yogis, but every yogi is supposed to engage in self-realization or Brahman realization. It is clearly stated there that unless one is fully engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot have easy approach to the path of Brahma Siddhi. In the beginning of chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that when one engages himself in the devotional service of Vasudeva, spiritual knowledge and renunciation of the material world automatically becomes manifest. Thus, the devotee does not have to try separately for renunciation of knowledge. Devotional service itself is so powerful that by one service attitude, everything is revealed. It is stated here, Shiva Pantha. This is the only auspicious path for self-realization. The path of devotional service is the most confidential means for attaining Brahma realization. That perfection in Brahman realization is attained through the auspicious path of devotional service. Indicates that the so-called Brahman realization or realization of the Brahma Jyoti effulgence is not Brahma Siddhi. Beyond that Brahma Jyoti, there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Upanishads, a devotee prays to the Lord to kindly put aside the effulgence Brahma Jyoti so that the devotee may see within the Brahma Jyoti the actual, eternal form of the Lord. Unless one attains realization of the transcendental form of the Lord, there is no question of bhakti. Bhakti necessitates the existence of the recipient of devotional service and the devotee who renders devotional service. Brahma Siddhi through devotional service is realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The understanding of the effulgent rays of the body of the Supreme Godhead is not the perfect stage of Brahma Siddhi or Brahman realization, nor is the realization of the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Person perfect. For Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Akhilatma. He is the Super Soul. One who realizes the Supreme Personality realizes that other features, namely the Paramatma feature and the Brahman feature. And that total realization is Brahma Siddhi. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुता पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितांश्च साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता राधा शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we're reading this chapter, Glories of Devotional Service, which is being explained by Lord Kapila to Mother Devahuti. And it is the continuation of text 18, which says, in that position of self-realization by practice of knowledge and renunciation in devotional service, one sees everything in the right perspective. He becomes indifferent to material existence and the material influence acts less powerfully upon him. So perfection in self-realization, as explained in this verse, cannot be attained by different yoga systems. So what is the meaning of yoga? Yoga is a process of uniting with whom? With the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna gives the different kinds of yoga system in Bhagavad Gita. It's a yoga ladder. So starts from Karam Khanda, goes to Karam Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then Dhyana Yoga, and then comes to Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna explains all these yoga systems in chapter 3 to 6. And then the ladder means to climb up. To climb up to what level? Level of Bhakti Yoga. So all the yoga systems are there to help us to come to the level of Bhakti Yoga. Unless we perform Bhakti Yoga, there is no question of attaining Brahma Siddhaya or perfection in self-realization. So at the end of chapter 6, so Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections, 1 to 6, then 7 to 12, 13 to 18. So at the end of the first section, at the last shloka of chapter 6, Krishna is saying, who is the highest of yogis? Yoginam api sarvesham madgaten antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mata. And of all the yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So Krishna is telling who is the highest yogi. So the bhakta is the highest. He gives us choices, like, there are different kinds of yoga. You can choose. And he gives us choices because he created us and he then gave us the free will. So we will always have a free will, choice. But the people who surrender to Krishna, they make the right choice of taking the path of bhakti. As explained by Krishna, this is the highest yoga system. So in today's verse, we're using Yoginam Brahma Siddhaye. So that's again highest of the yogis will achieve perfection in self-realization. Brahma Siddhaye. So what is perfection in self-realization? So as parts and parcels of Krishna, we have an intimate connection with Krishna. But because of our conditioning, we have forgotten that connection. And what we do is we realize that we are not this spirit soul, we are matter. So first we have to come to the level of Brahman level, Aham Brahmasmi. So that means we are not matter, we are spirit soul. So once we understand that we are spirit soul, then we have to go further and inquire who is Parabrahma. Parabrahma is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is our relationship with Him? So once we have the full knowledge, then we automatically start rendering devotional service. And that is perfection in self-realization. Only going up to the Brahman level and understanding that that's a Shuddha Sattva, and you start getting real pleasure, Paramananda in that state, because it is beyond the three modes. That is not our destination. And that is not perfection in self-realization. The Prabhupada gives an example in his lecture of a person who is suffering from fever. So when he is given some medicine, the fever is cured. But then Prabhupada says then he has to go beyond that. Beyond that he has to get the strength, he should get the appetite, and then he should start have a normal life. So just to go to the Brahman level, understanding that we are not matter, we are spiritual, it's not enough. We have to go beyond that. So, although Brahman is one of the aspects of the absolute truth, lot of devotees, they express strong distaste for impersonal liberation. Like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that prick of a thorn in Vrindavan is greater than Brahmananda. And prick is painful, but he considers prick to be ecstatic and greater than the Brahmananda, which is considered greatest of all pleasures by the non-devotee spiritualists. So you can understand for Brahmavadi that is the highest destination. For devotees, they think it is better to have a prick of a thorn in Vrindavan. And Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Kevalyam narkayate. So getting liberated, going to Brahman is like going to hell, narka. Although it is the same absolute truth, it is the Brahman realization, but they don't want to just have the Brahman realization, they want to go beyond that. And they want to have the loving exchanges with the Lord. And that is the perfection. So Krishna is explaining that we are not matter, we are spirit soul. In chapter 2, he is elaborately giving explanation that soul is eternal, unborn, unbreakable, cannot be cut into pieces, cannot be withered by wind, cannot be burned by fire. So all these qualities he's explaining, analytical study of the soul. And then in chapter 7, he's saying that we are different from matter. So he says, Bhumi rapo nalo vayu, kham mano buddhi revacha, ahankar itiya me bhinna prakriti rishtada. So earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, or false ego, altogether these constitute my separated material energies. In the next verse, he is saying that besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises of the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So we clearly understand that we are not matter, we are spirit soul. And Krishna is explaining this very nicely in chapter 2 and chapter 7. So knowing that we are spiritual soul, Aham Brahmasmi, and we are superior energy of the Lord, that is not sufficient. That's what Prabhupada is explaining. That's not Brahma Siddhaya. That's not perfection in self-realization. And different processes of yoga system, they won't be able to give us that complete realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to go beyond that. Now going beyond that, we have to understand who is the Super Soul, who is the Bhagwan, and then the bhakti starts. And bhakti means activity. Like someone is working in an organization and he's working according to the rules and regulations of that organization, and he's, there's a mutual understanding, and in terms he gets the rewards, he gets the remuneration for doing that work. Similarly, in bhakti, we have to perform activities, and it says Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Because Krishna is a proprietor of the senses, he is our master of senses. So this body belongs to him. So we should be using this body in service of Krishna by performing various activities in the devotional service. The Mayavadi philosophers, they say Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. In Prabhupada has quoted this in many places, in many lectures. And they say all the suffering is because of the material activities that we perform in this world. So once we stop the activities, we will be free from suffering. So that is their philosophy. And then Buddhists also say that the sufferings are because of the misery in this material world and because of this body. So we have to make everything zero. And Prabhupada is saying both Mayavadi and Buddhist philosophers are not perfect. They want to enjoy the material world, but the material world is full of frustrations. So they will never be able to achieve what they are aspiring for in this material world. And stopping the activity is impossible. Krishna is again explaining in Bhagavad Gita, we cannot be without any activity even for a moment. The soul is always active. So we cannot have, we cannot do any, there cannot be any moment without any action. So we will always be performing some sort of activity. And they say Brahma is Satya, then the Jagat is coming from Satya, should also be Satya. But they are saying that is illusion and that is wrong conception. We know that Jagat is real, but it is temporary. Na yujya manaya bhaktaya bhagavati akhilatmani. So Bhagavati is the Supreme Person, Akhilatmani, he is everywhere. The God is everywhere. And in Brahma Samhita it's also said, Yassa Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. So he's present as the Shirodakshaya Vishnu, is diffused as the all-pervading super soul in all the universes and is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. So Lord is pervading everywhere. Now we have this body and we have the soul, but we are only present here. We cannot be present anywhere else because we are conditioned. But Lord is not conditioned. He can be present in the spiritual world and he can be present here as well. So that is Krishna. He is the Supreme Person. He is called Hari, Ishvara, Bhagwan, Adokshaja, Akhilatmani. So he is everywhere. Andantarastha Parmano Chayantarastham Goloka eva nivasati Akhilatma Bhutaha. So Krishna is residing in Goloka with Radharani and his other eternal associates. But he is present here as well. The one Ansha of Krishna, that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he is controlling all the activities in the material world. So when the universe is created, he enters as the super soul. And all the activities of the universe is then performed by him. Similarly, our body, soul is there, we are performing activities. When this universe is created, super soul enters and performs all the activities. Krishna is saying, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Astitha. I am the super soul of Arjuna seated in hearts of living entities. So he is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridadeshe Arjuna Tishtati. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities. So we understand that Krishna is present in everyone as super soul. He is present even in the atoms. So he is Akhilatmani. So engage yourself in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is super soul or expanded everywhere, even within the atom. Then your yoga system for Brahma Siddhaya or self-realization will be complete. That's what Prabhupada is saying in one of his lectures. Now, not everyone is interested in Brahma Siddhaya. How many people actually want to understand who we are, what is super soul, who is Bhagavan? And so it's not for everyone. Not everyone is interested in Brahma Siddhaya. And Krishna is declaring that in chapter 7, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschinam veti tatvata. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So he's saying that out of millions, one would actually endeavor to achieve this perfect knowledge. And he's saying, why is not happening? Why people are not interested in understanding, what is our real position, what is our constitutional position? Because Krishna is saying, Bhogeshwara prasakta nam taya paharta chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhuna vidiyate. So our minds are too attached to sense gratification. And that is why that determination, that resolute determination for acquiring devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not arise in the heart. Vivasayatmika buddhi doesn't arise. So why it is not happening? Because if we see if I look at my childhood days, we used to have only one TV channel, Doordarshan. I'm sure everybody would have gone through the same thing. Most of people were coming from India. And in those days, only Sundays we would have kids program. And after that, there would be Mahabharat. In Mahabharat, when it used to come, there would be curfew on the roads. Not even a single person on the road. And why would that happen? Because the entertainment was limited only to certain number of hours on Sunday. The rest of the days, there was hardly anything. I mean, kids would probably engage in some sports or something else, but there was not really any other TV or there were no gadgets. Like I look at my, child, she's got everything, all the gadgets, iPhone, tablet, everything. And they've got so many applications, to play games. And there are so many TV channels now, like countless TV channels. We used to have one TV channel, and that would also show a few hours of, good TV programs once a week. And now we have like unlimited access to all these things. So just giving one example, how Maya is acting and giving us choices. Okay, if you don't like this, you can have this. If you don't like this, you can have this. So it's very hard, and our minds are already inclined towards sense enjoyment. So we really don't want to, leave that. And then on top of it, it's explained in Bhagavata what is the quality of the Kali Yuga men. Manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagya hyo pradota. So, O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So it's like double trouble. We have Maya acting on us so strongly, and on top of it, this is the quality of the Kali Yuga men. So we have, very little chance, and that is why Krishna is saying, out of millions, one would come. And how that happens? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. So, according to that karma, all the living entities are wandering in the universe from one planetary system to the other. And out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of creeper of devotional service. So that is how fortunate actually we are. If we look at our position, it's only because of the mercy of some Vaishnava we have come to Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, I look at my life, the transition. I'm sure most of the devotees are exactly the same, what we were a few years ago and now what we are. It's like a complete transition. And like unbelievable, if somebody would have asked me, would you be chanting, after 20 years, like when I was in school, would you be chanting after 20 years and would you be giving a class, Srimad Bhagavatam class in a temple? I would say, oh, you must be joking. That's impossible. I would be saying something, some scientific things or something more material. So the transition has happened, and that has happened because not of our, there may be some past karma, but it's mostly because of pure Vaishnava's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, our Guru's mercy. We have come to Krishna consciousness. So we are most fortunate, and such a rare opportunity to understand and to attain Brahma Siddhaye. Very, very rare. So it's because of Krishna's and Lord Chaitanya's mercy, we have come to Krishna consciousness and we have been able to preach as well. Otherwise, it's not easy for anyone to attain Brahma Siddhaya. So it starts with getting the human life. And getting human life is again very, very rare. There are 8.4 million species of life. And then within human life, there are also, I don't know how many, 600 something thousand, 6 million or 600,000, I think, species of human form. So it is also very rare to get a human life. And it starts with Atato Brahma Jignasa. So now is the time to inquire about the absolute truth. Because we get this facility in this human form of life. We get the intelligence to actually understand that transcendental knowledge. In any other species of life, we have no chance. There is no facility. So purpose of life, a human life, is to understand who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, who we are, what is our relationship with Him. And to know what are Krishna's qualities and His pastimes, which Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining elaborately. What are Krishna's qualities? What are His pastimes? And we are again so fortunate to be able to come in contact with this Amala Purana to understand all this. Now bhakti, so once we understand we are spirit soul, we are not this matter, we go further and understand who is Parabrahma, what are His qualities, what are His pastimes. So once we have that knowledge, then bhakti automatically starts. Once we understand what is our position, we would start rendering devotional service automatically. And bhakti is only applicable for Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada in his lecture explains that someone might come and say, I have also bhakti. Bhakti for whom? Bhakti for my wife, bhakti for my husband, nation, state, sports club. So this is also, for them, this is kind of bhakti. But that is not bhakti. Bhakti can only be for Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. So there have to be three things. One is Bhakta, Bhagavan, and the process. Otherwise, there cannot be bhakti. Now some people declare themselves as God. They mention themselves, in India also there are many people, they are saying that we are God. And so Prabhupada says, if you are God, they are all imitation gods, we know. So if you are God, then are you Akhilatmani? Akhilatmani, are you present as the super soul in everyone's heart? If you are present in everyone's heart, you should know what is going in my heart, what is going in your heart. So that's one thing. So if they are super soul, or they are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they should be Akhilatmani. They should be present everywhere. And the second thing is, when Krishna came, He performed so many pastimes. Can they perform any of those pastimes? Like Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill on his little finger. Can they lift a table? Like one of the lectures, my Shiksha Guru was teaching me, just ask them to be not Govardhan Dhari, be table Dhari. Forget about, 7 minutes, 7 hours, can you do that? Then you will be God. So, no one can perform those pastimes of Krishna. Kevalyam, Krishna, no one can be equal or higher than Krishna. So, Krishna is saying, Tesham satata yukta nam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So it's only Krishna who is giving us that intelligence to understand Him. We just do our devotional service, and that knowledge and that intelligence automatically comes to us from where? From Krishna. And He's declaring that I give you the understanding by which you can come back to me. So we should render devotional service. There's a condition there with love. And Arjuna is also saying, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Deva, Devala and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. So Arjuna is establishing the supreme position of Krishna. Now, in the previous verse we read that to be less influenced by the material modes of life, and that is the reason that Vivasayatmika Buddhi is not arising. So to be less influenced by the material modes and Maya, one has to come to the platform of Jnana and Vairagya. And this was the previous verse. But in the purport, Prabhupada is saying at the beginning of chapter 2, it is stated that if we start the process of bhakti yoga, jnana and vairagya would automatically come. There there is no need for a separate endeavor for that. That automatically would come, jnana and vairagya. So we don't have to make an extra effort for that. Now, unless we become inquisitive, atato brahma jignasa, there is no possibility of brahma siddhaye. So human life is not for working so hard. People are working like, I don't know how many hours they work in a day. For what? For attaining material things. You know, I want a big house, a big car, maybe another house for my kids, maybe another house for my, retirement plan. So they keep working hard. There's no end to it. And the inquisitive is not about where I will get my food, my shelter, clothes, etc. Eating, mating, defending, and sleeping are the four necessities of human life. But Lord has made elaborate arrangement for even for the beast and birds without much effort. So we don't have to make too much effort for that. And when we go to these people who are working so hard, and they say we don't have any time for devotional service, and we are busy. We are doing, we have to make a house or at least have this much bank balance in our account, so that we have a peaceful retirement. But when death comes, can any of these, by even a single second, buy the entire wealth of the universe? No. When the death comes, they have to go. And what will be left behind? All the material things that they have accumulated, they would be left behind here. What will go with us is the sukriti that we have performed, by devotional service. So that's the only thing that will go with us. Krishna is saying, Tasyev heto prayatet kovido. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophical inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, down to the lowest planet, Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. So there is no extra endeavor. Whatever quota of happiness has been allocated to us would automatically fall on our plate. We don't have to run behind it. Like no one wants misery, but it comes automatically. Similarly, the enjoyment would automatically come, whatever is there for us. We don't have to make extra efforts for that. So then when we come to the level that we want to know about, the Brahma Jignasa, we want to know about ourselves and then the Supreme Person, then we should approach a spiritual master. Tasmad Gurum Prapadye Jigyasa Shre Uttamam Shabde Parecha Nishnat Brahma Yup Shama Shreyam. Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual master. Now Krishna is telling us how we can attain Brahma Siddhi by approaching a spiritual master who will give us the knowledge, give us instructions, and by following those instructions, we would be able to achieve perfection. So we have to dovetail everything we have in Krishna service, Yujyamanaya. So we have to, whatever we have to dovetail. So it doesn't mean that we have to stop activities. I think the devotees, especially the brahmacharis, they're working so hard from morning till night serving the Lord. Various activities, book distribution, prasadam, everything. So we are also working hard. So we are also doing activities. But what we are doing, we are dovetailing everything in Krishna's service. Not like the mundane people. They are also working extremely hard. But for what? Material things. So that is useless. So whatever we are doing in Krishna's service, we have to perform activity. As Prabhupada is saying, like Mayavadis, they want to stop activity. We cannot do that even with force. We will be forced to act. So why not just act for Krishna. That would be more useful. So in the end, I would say that because of Guru's mercy, we have been able to start our devotional life, our devotional journey. So Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Nama. So I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So we follow the orders of Srila Prabhupada, our Guru, and we perform devotional service. We would be able to understand who we are. Am Brahmasmi. We are not matter. We are spirit soul. We would understand who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Once we understand who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will automatically understand is the other two features of the Absolute Truth, which are Paramatma and Brahman. And that will be called as Brahma Siddhaye, perfection in self-realization. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anybody wants to add anything or? Hare Krishna. Yeah. Sorry, Prabhu, I didn't get. Yeah. Yeah. Soul is always active. So we are always serving Krishna. When we are in our original constitutional position as Krishna's servants, we are constantly engaged in Krishna's service. So soul is always active. So soul is always performing activities. So when the soul is in this body, we would be performing activities through this body, which is the medium to perform activities. Now we are in this material world. We are in a material body. So we activities won't stop. Now it's our choice whether we go towards the path of material enjoyment and then perform activities which would satisfy our senses, which can never be satisfied anyway, or we dovetail whatever qualities we have in Krishna's service. So activity has to be performed. Activity cannot be stopped because soul is always active, has been stated in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, I mean, soul is unborn because we are having the same qualities as Krishna, Satchidananda. So we are eternal, and so we are very small, minute in quantity. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are like a drop in the ocean of water, and Krishna is the ocean. But we have the same quality, we are eternal. So we are unborn because we are eternal, we cannot be born. But all we are doing is we are changing our body. So Krishna is explaining in chapter 2, all we are doing is we transmigrating from within this body from childhood to boyhood to youth, old age, and then we, at the end of this life we change our body and we accept another body. So that's what is being explained, but we are never destroyed, we never get old. So soul never gets old, only this body gets old. So body has got the 4 defects: old age, disease, death, birth, old age, disease and death. So that is the defect of the body, material body, not the soul. Soul is always active, unborn, eternal. Krishna is giving all the qualities. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah. 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 Sure. So, so I mean, my understanding when Krishna is explaining different yoga systems, especially like when Jnana Yoga, the destination of the Jnana Yogi is up to Brahman level, and the Dhyana Yogi goes to Paramatma level. So we are not going to achieve perfection because we would not understand the other aspects of the absolute truth. We will only go to the Brahman level if we are only Jnana Yogi. So Krishna is saying the other yoga systems are not to achieve perfection in that particular yoga system. It is to help us to come to level of bhakti yoga. So we can actually start bhakti yoga. So when the dhyana yogi goes to the level of samadhi, he is actually seeing Paramatma, and that is the start point for the bhakta. So it's all actually, it's a ladder. So you are, the people who are not ready to take bhakti yoga straight away, they are given different choices. But ultimately, the aim of all the yogas is to come to the level of bhakti yoga, so that you can start the process of devotional service. And that is the only process. It's like, it's not just auspicious in the purport. Prabhupada is saying that is the only way we can achieve Brahma Siddhaya, which is perfection in self-realization. So we would understand all the three aspects of the Lord, the Bhagwan, the Paramatma, and the Brahman. Otherwise, we would be stuck at some other, we will be stuck at Brahman level, as our acharyas are saying. They don't want to go there. They want to go beyond. Okay? If I have explained, Prabhu. Sure. Yes, sure, Prabhu. Yes. Okay, so I have only heard about this. So when the devotee also starts seeing the Lord as Shama Sundara in his heart, it is also mentioned in Brahma Samhita. I can't remember that shloka, but the devotee also starts seeing the Lord and his pastime as Shama Sundara in his heart. But the person who is the Ashtanga Yogi, the Dhyana Yogi, when he is in Samadhi, he would start seeing the Paramatma form. And one of the lectures, again, I've not read it in any Shastra, but I've heard it in one of the lectures, that when he goes to the level of Samadhi and he starts seeing Paramatma, then there are two things can happen. He sees the Paramatma and he says, oh wow, what a beautiful person. And, he thinks it's Krishna, and he attains the Shanta Rasa in the spiritual world. On the other hand, if he sees that same Paramatma and he thinks, oh, it's me, then he goes into the Brahman level. He merges with the Brahma Jyoti. So those are the two destinations. But it's again very technical, and I'm only quoting from the lecture that I have heard. But for devotees also see Lord in the heart, but as Shama Sundara. And it's mentioned in Brahma Samhita. Oh. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Easiest. Guru Maharaj was saying that there is a place in Bengal where you just go and have prasadam and you will achieve perfection. So, what an austerity. Just to have prasad, you will achieve perfection. So, yeah, I mean, the easiest is Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given mercy to everyone without the thinking that he is qualified or not qualified. It's for everyone. Otherwise, we won't be sitting here. I mean, I won't be sitting here. If, it was not, the mercy was not for everyone, even for the patit. So he is giving mercy to Jagai and Madai. So the easiest he has made it that in this Kali Yuga, Kale dosho nide rajan asti hai eko mahan guna. So this Kali Yuga is full of faults. It's full of quarrel and hypocrisy. But only one good quality, that just by chanting by the holy name of the Lord, we can achieve perfection. So it's the simplest path. There's no rules and regulations to chant the holy names. You just have to sit with your mala anywhere, any situation. You can just chant. This is the easiest. The other yogas give different processes. Satyuga is like meditating for thousands of years. I don't know, 60,000, 80,000 years, something like that. Then Treta Yuga, you do the Yagna, and then Dwapar Yuga, you do the deity worship. So they were more difficult processes. This is the easiest, chanting the Harinam. And Harinam was not easy in other yugas because we perform so many offenses while chanting. But Mahaprabhu is saying, I will take all the offenses. So don't worry, you just chant, I will take the offenses. And it's the easiest. So devotional service, easiest, of any yogas, any situation, just chanting. So easy. Please add anything, Prabhu, if I'm. So yeah, devotional service is following four regulative principles and chanting the holy names, and that's the easiest. And then keep coming here. I mean, associate with devotees, eat Krishna prasadam. Even prasadam is potent enough to take us back. Yeah. I feel so bad when I'm answering this because how I chant my own rounds. Yeah, so 16 is like it was a negotiation. I mean, Prabhupada is very generous. I think it started with 100 and something, and then it came to 64 rounds, 32, and then devotees pleaded, like, in this material world and in this Kali Yuga, it's so hard. So Prabhupada gave the concession for 16 rounds. And just because Prabhupada has given this concession, by chanting 16 rounds, we would be able to go back. Prabhupada says, you just chant 16 rounds. At the end of your life, I will come myself to take you back. So it's a great concession that we have been given. And we even find it difficult to chant 16 rounds. You know, how I chant my rounds, I don't know. Okay, thank you. Okay, is that all? थैंक यू ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय।